I almost did not turn on the microphone, and I'm so glad I caught it because I would have been pissed. Anyway, it's your boy Jack. You either know or you don't. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate all the support as always. Let's talk about Asta for a minute. All right. So I don't expect this video to be very long. So yeah. Just in case you have issues viewing my videos, you're probably trying to view it on your computer, and like I said, I'm not quite sure why that's happening, but it should be viewable at some point. But if you're having issues viewing it, try on your phone. That should work. I would do it on my computer, but I'm currently exporting the video that you guys wanted initially, the one that you voted for. So that's actually going to come out second. My apologies. Did not think that video was going to take as long as it did. But anyway, we're going to talk about a potential theory as to what Asta actually is, okay? And I think I just want to start at this. We have elemental spirits. We have air, which is Bel, the salamander for fire, and Undine for water. What we're missing is earth. And at this point, there is no valid reason to be missing earth right now. We really don't have a good reason. All right. And I know there's a lot of speculation that, like, currently it could be with Mars right now. You know, there's some people thinking it's with Mars. And, you know, this could definitely be the case. Like, we just haven't come across it yet. And that's fine. However, I'm not a guy to take just those happenstances for an answer. Like, oh, we'll get it later. Yeah, no. Sabata is a bit too intentional for that to happen, I feel like. So I was at first, before I found the theory that I'm about to roll out to you guys, I was thinking, like, okay, let's look at Asta and compare him to, like, everyone else. Asta is honestly the most human out of all of them. Humans, I mean, we can speak from experience right now. I can guarantee at least 99.99999% of you don't have magic powers. You might think you do, but you don't. So, Asta is a straight up and down human in this series. So then it becomes a matter of, is he the first or is he the last human? And then I started looking up, like, okay, you know what? I do know the story of Adam and Eve, but I do want to look at some in-depth stuff, right? So as we all know, Adam was the first man. Now, what I was not aware of was that in Talmudic legend, Adam was a golem for the first 12 hours of his existence. Can't talk. But he was for the first 12 hours of his existence, he was a golem. And that's something I didn't know. So that is actually very, very cool. And I kept reading. So Adam being a golem for the first 12 hours of his existence indicates that he was a body without a soul. In other legends, the prophet Jeremiah is said to have made a golem. Some believe these legends regarding the creation of golems are merely symbolic in nature and may refer to a person's spiritual awakening. So as you see, there's literal lore, and then there's that metaphysical, figurative lore, right? But like I said, him being a golem for the first 12 hours of his life means he really didn't have that life force until he obtained the soul, and thus became Adam and not just a golem. So I'm going to keep reading to you guys just some other takes on, you know, golems throughout history and through other takes in civilizations, right? So it says there are others who interpret the stories of the golem literally and believe that it is possible to create such creatures. In the Sefer Yetzirah, which is the book of creation, which is what we usually talk about on this channel regarding the tree of life and Klippot, right? There are instructions explaining the creation of golems. Several rabbinic commentaries on this book have provided different explanations about how these directions should be carried out. In most versions, the golem is first formed into a shape resembling a human being. Now, the next part is how to bring a golem to life. So there are several ways given to bring a golem to life. One way, for example, is if its creator were to walk or dance around it while saying a combination of letters from the Hebrew alphabet and the secret name of God. In another version, the letters Aleph, Mem, and Tav, these letters combine to form the word Emet, meaning truth. These letters are required to be written on a golem's forehead in order to give it life. A third way of bringing a golem to life is to write the name of God on a parchment and stick it into the golem's arm or mouth. So I'm not so much worried about the first part because I don't really see Lasita dancing around, this clay body, doing this little golem worship thing. I don't see that. So I'm more so focused on the second and the third. Now, the second one was having the word truth being written on the golem's forehead. And as we know since the beginning of the series, maybe not as a baby, but at some point during his childhood, Asta obtains this headband that has the symbol that no one knows what it is. And it keeps growing as he's growing. And it seems to be attached to his head as we speak in Devil Union. So I'm wondering if this is just the symbol to portray this, this meaning of truth. And then we also have the third way of bringing the golem to life, which was writing the name of God on a parchment and sticking it to the golem's arm or mouth. Now, we clearly don't see anything on Asta's mouth, but we do see this arm, and it's just the fact that this arm seems to affect Liabe when it should have just been Asta affected. And this is the only arm in existence right now that looks like that among devils, which is very, very, very odd. So this could mean we could attribute this to this theory. And while I do admit that could be a stretch, as this is, of course, just like scribbles on his headband, as we get further into this, it could end up making more sense. Now, I want to skip the story, because there is a story of a golem in Prague. While it's cool and kind of interesting, it's not, we can't really attribute much to it into this, other than the fact that it possesses extreme amounts of power. So, to go on to this, while the golem in Jewish lore succeeds in protecting the Jews, sorry, I picked up on the other end of that story. I meant to go on the legacy of golems. So in most stories, golems are described as male in appearance and were made to help save Jewish people, even if there was an unfortunate end to the story. However, there are a few notable legends about female golems as well. For example, a rabbi named OATz is said to have allegedly created a beautifully silent golem for him to have sex with. Anyway, this was not as common as stories about female golems being created as maidservants that would cook and clean. Golems are such prominent figures in Jewish legend that they continue to inspire artists and writers to this day. So there's just those tidbits on golems, right? I had one more thing I wanted to just read to you guys really quick. So let me get to it. It's the Golem of Prague. You can look that up, by the way, the Golem of Prague, if you want to read into it. Like I said, it's really kind of cool. And it just shows how the golem was really created to either protect or destroy. But the golems were kind of like sentinels, where you would make the golem and then give it an order, and it would spend the rest of its life following that order. And then it seems that where things start to go wrong is that as the golem spends more of its life getting older, it gains more power, and still following this order ends up following it to a fault. So like if you order this golem to like clean, it'll start cleaning your house. It's like, oh great, it's doing what it can. And it'll start washing dishes, and then it's learning how to use the dishwasher. Then all of a sudden it's outside cleaning things, and it's just like, okay, well you got dirt in your wounds, let me clean that. And then, oh no, there's more blood, I gotta clean that, I gotta clean your whole body. Now you're just killing people by cleaning them to death. If that, I'm just making stuff up right now, but that's essentially what the golem is referenced as, is these potentially harmful creatures that are mostly created to do good. So there's this give and take in just them being who they are. Now, to go into the history of the term golem, the origins of the golem are often traced back to the Separate Zero, like I said, and it's Kabbalistic, so it deals with the creation of the universe. So the Hebrew word golem has been interpreted in multiple ways. The term is used in the Bible, as well as Talmudic literature, to refer to an embryonic or incomplete substance. Commentaries on the Mishnah, specifically the Pirkei Avot, which are just sections of the Kabbalah, use the term to refer to a person whose behavior is unbalanced or uncultivated in contrast to learned or wise men. The word was incorporated into Yiddish to refer to a person who is stupid, clumsy, or inconsiderate. Now, while Asta is not really inconsiderate, he can be deemed as clumsy and stupid in his own ways, right? References to golems occurred as early as the scriptural description of creation. Adam, the first man, is described as having been initially created as a golem. Formed from dust, Adam was a golem or shapeless mass before becoming imbued with a soul. Like Adam, all golems are created from mud. They were a creation of those who were very holy and close to God, striving to approach God, and in that pursuit gaining some of God's wisdom and power. One of these powers was the creation of life. No matter how holy a person became, however, a being created by that person would be but a shadow of one created by God. Now, this is the really interesting part. Where we go back, we say they were a creation of those who were very holy and close to God, striving to approach God, and in that pursuit, gaining some of God's wisdom and power. Right? So one of those powers was the creation of life. And as we see with Lucida, now, while she does not create life, this could have been a backlash of creating this being, where she might have been able to, create life or imbue life upon this golem, but whatever backlash she experienced may be having to do with dealing with a devil while going through this divine process, because you can't be close to God and also close to devils. It's either one or the other. There's no real siding with both, as we see with not pleading to God, and then one of the devils that he has going like, don't give me that. You can't just plead to the gods when you feel like it. You gotta choose up. So but yeah, let's continue. So the first known instructions for the creation of the golem are found in commentaries on the Sefer Yetzirah during the 12th and 13th centuries. The creation of a golem was first seen as an initiatory mystical experience. It was not until later that the golem came to be seen as chiefly as a servile entity. So, this, as they were saying, it was first seen as an initiatory mystical experience. There is another excerpt where it is said that creating a golem is pretty much the pinnacle of alchemy, and it's pretty much taboo. And when one creates a golem, the order they belong to forces them to destroy the golem, because it is not it's not safe in the long run. They cause more harm than good. So that was kind of my line of thinking of like, okay, Lucida, if she created this golem, and this golem is Asta, she left it at the church so that she could give it the order to possibly make the world better, and rid the world of this system of classism, and bring everyone together, and left it at the church so it could end up living its entire life, growing stronger to do that. Now, whether Asta will get to this point of doing this to a fault is yet to be seen yet, because he's maintained a pretty solid character so far. However, I would say a lapse in judgment is sacrificing his arm in the heat of the moment for more power. This could be that descent into, like I said in this, well, like I will say in this video that is still uploading, that Asta will eventually fall, having that octagram and the morning star on his chest, symbolizing Jesus and Lucifer, where Lucifer, the morning star, did fall literally in the sky. If we're talking about Venus, that's how they depicted Lucifer as a morning star. And then, of course, Jesus is known to have died and then being resurrected. But not to spoil any of that video, just watch it once it uploads after this. Anyway, to go on to this, the creation of a golem was viewed as a symbol of holiness, as only the very righteous could be successful at bringing the godly powers into inanimate clay. Persons attempting to create golems for improper or self-serving purposes would not be given the ability to do so. Golems were usually connected with rabbis during the Middle Ages. Now, to go on, they talk about the features of golems. So, the animation of a golem often involved the use of one of the secret names of God, which were written on a slip of paper and attached to his forehead or arm, like we said, or on a clay tablet under the tongue, which could be removed to deactivate the golem. The word meaning truth on the forehead was also commonly used to give golems life. By erasing the first letter in the word truth, which is emet, to form met, which becomes dead, the golem could be deactivated. In many tales, the golem is said to continue to grow until it dwarfs all members of the household and must be deactivated. In nearly all versions of golem legends, golems lack the power of speech and are unable to make moral judgments. Since they are created by man, not God, they do not possess a soul, and therefore can do no more than what is asked of them by their creator. That's kind of what I said before. But now this next part, by saying since they are created by man, not God, they do not possess a soul, goes back to something I keep referencing where Zagreus summons those hellworms that suck out life, like literal life force, and Asta was completely okay. Not cloaked in anti-magic whatsoever. He was completely okay. So this could potentially mean that Asta currently might not have a soul, but definitely does have a purpose. And this can give him the illusion of having a soul when he actually doesn't. He's just carrying out this goal that was given to him by his creator, which is probably Lucida, to the very core of his being, because that's who the golem is what they were instructed to be. So to continue, in almost all Kabbalistic descriptions of golems, they are incapable of disobeying the one who created them. The theme of hubris is common to most golem tales, as with the tale of Rabbi Elias, who created a golem that grew so large that the rabbi was unable to reach its forehead to erase the letter to deactivate it. Now, while Asta is not going to grow anytime soon, this could definitely be personified as just becoming too strong. The rabbi then commanded the golem to remove his boots, thinking that he would then be able to erase the letter, which worked exactly as planned. Unfortunately, once the golem was deactivated, it returned to clay, which fell upon the poor rabbi, crushing him. And this type of hubris theme is common in most stories of golems, where the creation of the golem often leads eventually to destruction, similar to the moral found in the stories of the monster of Frankenstein. So, I mean, this is kind of really cool. Like I said, I think some of this does fit Asta pretty well. Now, there was something I wanted to bring to the table here. So with the next video, we talk about Asta being the Silver Star, what that means, and potentially being the Silver Star. But I want to backtrack and say that would not be exactly a Silver Star, but more of a golden spirit in this case. So we have what are called the Daemones Agrioi. My Greek is not the best, but what it means is silver demons. Now, before we get into anything, daemons, as far as Greek goes, can fall under anything. It's not just demons. It can be fairies or sprites, all of that sort of stuff. So they can refer to Undine as a daemon. They can refer to Bel as a daemon. It's all really the same thing. That's how they put it. And like I said in other videos, most things in Greek lore have a very vague sense as far as definitions go. So you just have to be mindful of that. So they have what's called the silver demon, and these were the blessed fertility spirits of the earth, which provided mankind with rich harvests, and they were born as the second silver generation of mankind and became demons after their deaths. The silver demons were inferior to the golden spirits. The silver dwelt within the earth, while the golden dwelt in the air. Now, we have Yuno, who obviously has air magic, and they're already comparing the two. One is silver, one is gold. One dwells within the earth, and back to what I was saying, we are missing the earth spirit. Whereas, not only has the air spirit, but is one with the air spirit, and is the only one that seems to have that relationship with his spirit, until we see otherwise, of course. But this kind of tells me that it's possible that Asta could be using the body of the earth spirit. And back to when I say that Lucida could have been granted this power to create life and bestow life upon people, the backlash came when she used the earth spirit, because this is supposed to provide balance. This is one of the direct pieces of not only nature but God, as you will see on the outline of the Rosy Cross and the Ascension and how everything's connected. You have nature at the top, then you have Aether, and then you're directly connected to the Creator. So to do that to a spirit, I can only imagine there are backlashes. So I'm wondering if that's what Lucida was met with. And yeah, I'm that's what I'm thinking, and I don't know if you guys agree. I think all of this is so cool. I think I can leave it there and have you guys kind of speculate further whether you agree with this or not. But I do like how we have these like silver demons, and then it can definitely correlate with a golem, since the silver dwelt within the earth, and then you have the golden ones who dwelt within the air. And I haven't even looked into this, but I'll do it for shits and gigs right now. Looking at the golden demons, right? Where the golden demons were 30,000 air-dwelling spirits who watched over mankind and rewarded the just with agricultural bounty. They were born as the virtuous golden race of mankind in the time of Cronus, and after their deaths were transformed into beneficent demons. These golden spirits were superior to the silver spirits. The former occupied the air, while the latter dwelt within the earth. The connection between agricultural bounty and justice can also be found in the figure Demeter, the lawbringer, and the seasons named peace, justice, and good order. All very interesting. Would require a deeper look for sure. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm thinking Asta could be using the body of this earth spirit, and this is why we don't have an earth spirit in the story currently. And whether Asta is in fact the first actual human could be a super cool concept. But then it could also be a really cool concept that he's the silver demon, which is the second silver generation of mankind. So just like this rebirth of mankind, which falls back into the octagram, the morning star, where he could be attributed to Jesus dying and then becoming resurrected, could stand for this whole thing. So, and I've said it before, a lot of this series seems to reflect like fractals, which is looking inside from the outside, looking inside from the outside forever. So you can make anything on the macro scale micro, and everything micro corresponds on a macro level. It just goes in and out constantly. So You guys let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. This video wasn't too long, so I don't expect anyone to drop out like in the 3 seconds, but I don't know. Some people do. But anyway, let me know what you thought about this on Twitter too. I'm open there. But yeah, that's it. Awesome's a golem, and he doesn't have a soul, which could explain why he has no mana, because we see that the Dryad says that the human soul can only contain so much mana, and that's attributing to the fact that souls and mana are directly correlated, and if he does not have a soul, therefore he does not have mana. So at some point, maybe it's possible that Asta has a soul bestowed upon him somehow, some way, and he does come back with some magic. So we'll see later on for sure. But that's pretty much where I'm going to stop this theory for now. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Let me know about what you thought about this in the comment section below or on Twitter. It's been Jackals the Goat. You either know or you don't. Kaiju number 8 tomorrow. Let's go.